If you're going through a down season of life, you need to be able to recognize whether or not you're going through a trial, and you can if you're searching your heart and you're walking and you're talking with God daily, and you're like, God, I'm going through a really difficult time right now, but I'm asking you to search my heart. I'm asking you to make sure that there's nothing that I'm doing in my life that's causing this, but this is a trial that you're allowing me to go through. Because we know that trials produce endurance, they produce patience, they produce a perfect work, the Bible says. And God will allow us to go through trials to make us stronger on the other side. It's like it's His way as the great potter of reshaping us and molding us and breaking us and reshaping us so we can hold a bigger blessing. But we've got to be able to recognize that what we're going through is a trial, and we're not being punished by going through a tribulation. Now, a tribulation is something totally different. A tribulation is something that you're going through because sin has brought pain and suffering into your life. That's different than a trial. James chapter 1, verses 13 through 15 reads like this. It says, "And remember that when you're being tempted, do not say, 'God is tempting me.' God is never tempted to do wrong, and He never tempts anyone else. Temptation comes from our own desires, which entice us and drag us away. And these desires give birth to sinful actions, and when sin is allowed to grow, it gives birth to death." See, a lot of times what happens is we go through these down seasons of life, and we wonder why we're going through all this hardship and we're going through all these down seasons. And what's incredibly awesome about God's pavilion, that even when we go through tribulation, if we're honest with ourselves and we humble ourselves before God, God will give us clarity and reveal to us the error of our ways that's causing the tribulation period to begin with. If you and I sin and sin and sin and sin, you know what we can experience? Seasons of death, 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 death. That's just what happens. When sin's finished, it brings forth death. So the more that we sin and we sow seeds of sinful things, the more we're going to reap what comes from sinful things.